What is going on? Welcome into the DGD Podcast as always. What is going on? Welcome to the DGD Podcast as always, Robert Reynolds. A lot to talk about, and we're talking Orange Bowl. Guys, previewing the Orange Bowl. One of the most boring lead ups I've ever experienced into bowl week, period, for me. Obviously, a lot of opt outs on Florida State side. Not so many announced on Georgia side. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about that, what to expect, preview the matchup, predictions, over, unders, and more. First things first, make sure to like, follow, rate, and review if you're listening. But we're going to go ahead and drop our first sponsor of the night too. And you know, and that's Apotheos. Apotheos Roastery, located in Kennesaw, Georgia. Get you some, go to dgdpodcast.com, go to our sponsors, go to Apotheos, shop their selection, use code CCC. That is CCC. You'll get free shipping regardless of how much you buy, and 20% of everything that you buy will go towards the Classic City Collective, because Apotheos is the official coffee and cold brew partner of the Classic City Collective. So when you buy coffee through our website, you are supporting them dogs. So keep that in mind when you get Apotheos. I have it every morning. Got it tried and true. Just going to leave that there. Tanil saying, hello, tired, so don't be offended when I dip early. Uh-oh. Fair enough. People's holidays plans still getting jacked up, huh? Hope everybody had a good holiday, by the way, too. Hope everybody is in. Let's see. I know some bowl games are going on right now, so we'll see how that plays out too. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Speaking of bowl season, very boring bowl season to me so far. It's just me, but nonetheless, let's jump into this Georgia Florida State. All right, obviously matchup of 5 and 6, and the philosophy behind this matchup couldn't be completely different. Couldn't be any more different. Right, you're looking at a Georgia team that really hasn't had any opt-outs, official opt-outs. Even Mims and Bowers that didn't make the trip down to Miami just yet. Hearing that they probably will be down there later in the week, but I think with them they're actually getting held up on injuries and stuff. So a lot of these opt-outs, right? Are not happening for Georgia, right? You've had Carson Beck playing, right? Javon Bullard, Kamari Lassiter, all these guys are playing. Meanwhile, the Florida State side, you had obviously the injury to Jordan Travis being pretty damning for them, right? Pushing them out of the playoff hunt, if you will. But since we'll go through a list of opt-outs. This is only opt-outs. This isn't just missing players, guys. This is Florida State's opt-outs. You're looking at Tate Rodemaker, which is quarterback 2, DJ Lundy, Rodney Hill, Malcolm Roy, CJ Campbell, Daltrey Richardson, AJ Duffy, Bless Harris, Dylan Brown, Tyler Keltner, Markston Douglas, Thomas Schrader, Ayobami Tufase, Quayshawn Sapp, Dylan Brown Turner, let's see, Johnny Wilson, Jared Verse, Jaheim Bell, Trey Benson, Keon Coleman, Renardo Green, Jarian Jones, Fabian Lovett, and Akeem Dent. That is a ton of opt-outs. Transfers / NFL declarations. That is a ton. Completely different situation, right? Georgia's had a ton of portal entries, but not necessarily not a lot of starters, if you will, right? So you're getting some guys, and both of these teams are going to play under 85. Let's call a spade here, but I do think it'll be very interesting to see how that shakes out. But Georgia's got a lot of their starters there, right? Which kind of leads into later, just a little bit discussion for later. Just going to be interesting there. Tanel says she's tired of Florida State whiners. We have more reason, but also more class than to make excuses. Yeah, I don't think there should be any excuses there for Georgia's side. Um, now you look at this, you look at the matchup, what it was, before opt outs, and now you're looking at it leading in a few days before the matchup. The the game could not be any more undesirable, in my opinion, for a team or a fan that is not in this bowl game. Right? If you're a Florida State fan, if you're a Georgia fan, sure you'll watch it. But with all these opt outs, I think it just ruins the feel for the map for the game this week. We'll see. Um, you know, I, Georgia has literally got into a situation where this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, because the opt outs, right? I listed those names. You're basically looking at one scholarship quarterback, one scholarship running back. Your leading receivers are out, your tight ends out. Like it's absurd. It is very, it's just wild. It really is. It makes you wonder, like you look at the schedule when you look at the schedule and the portal windows and things like that. It is very interesting. And honestly, it's just one of these things where Georgia fans will probably watch this game. Probably, I don't know. A lot of people might not watch this game, just on the fact that I don't know if Florida State actually scores. If I'm being honest, I really don't know if Florida State scores. Um, yeah, it is not going to be pretty. But but no, obviously with those opt outs, right? You're looking at, Georgia gets down to Miami Tuesday night. Right? Obviously, and a lot of the big talk was Bowers and Mims not making the trip. Like I said earlier, too, I think you're looking at a situation where those guys are hilling up, right? And I don't expect them to play, but you never know. They may dress out, but I don't see them playing, right? Just don't. Um, would I love to? Sure. But at the same time, I understand why if they don't. Just understand that. Um, but yeah, and I think when you look at the situation, right, you've had some news since you've been down in Miami as well, right? Chaz Chambliss announcing that he's returning in 2024. And there's still a lot of questions to be made regarding a lot of Georgia players, if you will. Javon Bullard, Kamari Ladd, hell, nobody really has announced if they are or not. A lot of them haven't. So obviously, I think we'll learn after that matchup Saturday where a lot of guys stand. The expectation is a lot of them will go. We'll see. Uh, Either way, I think you're going to be set for 2024, but we're not talking about 2024 just yet. Not just yet. Um, but no, looking ahead to this matchup, right? You're looking at Brock uh, Brock Glenn, I think is his name, freshman quarterback, uh, taking the start against Georgia. And honestly, that is a terrible, terrible first. Well, I wouldn't say it's first start, but it's with all the opt outs and things like that. That's going to be a hard ask. It's going to be a tough ask to do a lot. Like I said, you're missing Jaheim Bell, you're missing Wilson, and Keon Coleman, which I think those guys are difference makers. In all seriousness, you're just missing too much. Um, it's it's one of these things where if you're a Florida State fan, you just kind of go into this, I think, looking at it in a sense of, yeah, this is probably not worth watching, and that's hard to say because I want this matchup to be good. I just don't see it being good. I really don't. Really don't see it turning out well for Florida State at all. I think Georgia has the opportunity to play. Obviously, you're going to play Carson Beck. You'll play, your starters and stuff like that. But I'm sure you're going to see a rotation in it as well, especially if things go as I think they will. Uh, there's really no other way to get around it. Like it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. But with the Saturday, or I guess with Saturday's matchup and everything, this is a lot of guys' last, go at it, in a Georgia uniform. You could definitely see Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards, that being their last play. Very well could be for Kamari Lassiter. Right? There's several guys that could be suiting up Cedric Van Pran Granger as well, last go around, right, in a Georgia uniform. So I want to take that time to kind of like understand what we're seeing Saturday, right? Understanding what it means to watch some of those guys for the last time. Some of them are coming back. Some of them will come back. But for those that don't, right, you saw greatness in that class, right? Like in their 4 or 5 years, it's seriously been something to watch, right? For what it's worth, they provided 2 years of undefeated seasons, pretty much. 29 straight victories. That's something a lot of Georgia fans probably don't forget or probably don't understand just the importance of. But again, you sit there, they go 29 straight. Only lost 3 or 4 for 3 or 4 in their whole career, right? And if not less. So it's good to watch these guys for the last time if that's their intentions, right, to go to the draft. I do think as well, looking into this matchup, what does Georgia have to do? Right, I think Georgia just has to just play. I can sit here and make a bunch of jokes. Just play your brand of football, and you'll walk away probably with maybe even a shutout victory. Right, it's not looking good. Right? If this is a playoff matchup, probably things look different. But until then, this doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's going to get nasty. So you have that situation there, and really, it's just not even fun to talk to. Right? I haven't heard any Florida State chatter. A lot of people really don't give a shit about this game on that side. It seems like, and I think the players kind of, showing that, if you will, right? It's really hard to put into words because it looks like Georgia cares for this game, and Florida State does not. It's what it feels. And if that is the case, Georgia's going to belt the ass. There's just no other way to get it. And I think that's the general feel around college football. Georgia is just going to absolutely destroy them, right? If you're in the playoffs, does this change anything? Maybe. Still think Georgia would just demolish Florida State. Just my thoughts. I did hear as well. Did hear about Brock, their quarterback, talking about they beat LSU, they beat Florida this year, right? So that you take it for what it's worth. But it's the SEC that they're feeling good about it. Good for you. Good for you. You beat the 5th and 7th best teams in the conference. Good for you. There's levels to it, though. There's levels to it, and I think people will easily see that Saturday. And this is where it becomes an interesting point of discussion, right? Georgia will absolutely throttle Florida State. But the narrative will be they were supposed to because of the opt-outs, right? This is that damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if Georgia fucks around and they start to play like crap and look ugly against it and not do the things that they're supposed to do, you're never going to hear the end of it. You're just not. But even if you beat them by 50, no one's going to care. So hear me now. Do not get butthurt. Do not get upset when people do not want to hear the fact that you absolutely boat race Florida State. You're going to hear it doesn't matter. It doesn't. And this is just the way the game is now at this point for us, for Georgia fans. That's just what it's going to be. But what you can take away from this matchup is watching the young guys develop, right? Obviously, over the holidays, you had all the guys going back home or wherever they may be, right? Coming back on Christmas night, Christmas Day, whatever. I'm looking forward to watching some guys play specifically. And I think one of them's Jamal, Big Jaw. Watch him work out. If you watch his Instagram story, you'll see it. Looking in shape. Good shape. All right. It's what you want to see. You're in the 340s right now, which is where he needs to be. He knows that's where he needs to be. And I think you're right there on the precipice of hitting that next level for Jamal. And Saturday could be that springboard for him. I think it's a good opportunity for Jamal to get in early and often and establish that, right? Circumstances aside, don't care that they don't have, Trey Benson. I don't care that they have, whatever. I still want to see you move offensive linemen. And I think that's something that we might be able to see, right? I think that's what we're going to see. Also, I think you look at a guy, also Damon Wilson will not be playing. Had a surgery to clean up some stuff. That was expected, full recovery expected, all this. That's completely fine. I don't necessarily need him to, try to play on something hurt if it was hurt, right? Not mad about it. That's what I appreciate about Georgia. Georgia will protect the player from themselves. One of the rare situations in the country that'll do that. So when you see that and you hear that, don't worry about it. Just don't. It is by design, and it basically for longevity perspective, it keeps the guys healthy and ready for next year for him, at least for his sake. I do want to pose a question. Let's go ahead and push your score prediction in the comments, by the way. I just want to start seeing some score projections pop in as we continue to talk here. Yeah, obviously I talked about Jamal Jarrett being somebody that I'm excited to see. I'm also excited to see what maybe Gabe Harris looks like. We're in Pimba, right? One of the edge guys, right? Now that Marvin Jones has transferred to Florida State, I would love to see what our edge is going to look like next year. I'd like to see Gabe Harris or Mpemba play on first down and second down a lot this week. I think that's something that we need to see, right? You're going to see Chaz Chambliss. Fair. Whether you love him or hate him, that's up to you. I have my feelings about it. Could be better. I think that's why he came back. There's a lot of things to work on. So coming back is probably going to do him some good. But nonetheless, I think looking at Gabe Harris and Pimba, right? Obviously with Damon Wilson being out, that would be another one. But either way, I think you look at those guys. That is a matchup where those guys can go in there, get some run, and kind of springboard their career next year, looking forward to 2024. What's going on, Parker? Parker Curry saying hello. I think with those guys, right, on the defensive side of the ball, right, we saw it at G-Day, right? We saw the speed. We saw, the talent is there. Just got to get the playbook. I think this is a game where you could see a lot of those guys get extra run, and I wouldn't be mad about that. I wouldn't. I think that's what's going to happen, in my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of second and third string reserves playing, and this is the product of not being in the playoffs, right? That's just what happens. I know the last 2 years, right, we make the playoffs, so you don't necessarily see it like this, but that's what happens, right? You have to take that away and understand that you're seeing your future at that point. We saw it against Cincinnati. We've seen it in the bowl games, guys. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. So I look at it that way, right? We can sit there and take it away, right? We have to understand, too, this is the last game of the season. Right? It's one of these things where you don't want to hear it. The season's flown by at that point. It sucks that you're down to your last game and not two more. But here we are. When you take a look at the situation, right? Like I said, you're getting to see a lot of offensive guys, a lot of defensive guys. What is Oscar Delp? Is Oscar Delp going to have a big game? Maybe so. I think Carson Beck will be there. So you got, probably see Marcus Scherzer, all these other things. What's it going to look like? All right. I think that's going to be the fun part there. It's just a lot interesting to talk about. A lot of interesting stuff. Parker says, I wish Georgia football went to the playoffs this year, but they did not make it. Very sad about that. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Talking about this after the Bama loss was one of these things where Georgia controlled their destiny, and that loss took the destiny out of their hands and out of their control. Do I find it a little bit perplexed for them to fall 5 spots, losing the way we did? Sure. It's the same way as Florida State, right? Perfect 13-0, right? Conference champion, Power 5, and you still get pushed out, right? A lot of firsts happened this year in the 14 playoffs, right? Obviously we were on the negative end of it, but you gotta make do with it, It just is what it is. Looking forward way too early, Parker. I think you look at it with the 12-team expansion. I don't see a situation where Georgia doesn't make it unless you have a cataclysmic breakdown, right? Cataclysmic breakdown. That's the only thing I can see where you don't make it next year. That's just my thoughts on that, right? So it hurts now, right? Sure, it hurts now. But next year, we'll be sitting here talking about the playoffs, and we'll be looking at what seed we are. I mean, that's about that's just all that is. You're right. But yeah, no, thank you for the question there, Parker, as well. With the, I guess for me, with all this coming in and playing the game, offensively, right? I want to pose the question, but I'm gonna answer this as well. What do you want to see Georgia do offensively? Is there anything you think you want or you think we'll see Saturday? I want to see Anthony Evans get some run. I want to see Arian Smith have a big game. I think he's had a good week he's had a good practice. They had practice today, and that seemed to be doing fairly well there. Seemed to have a good practice there. I just want to see some consistency at the receiver position. If that means giving Anthony Evans some run or you know what I mean, give these guys some run. We've had the speed sitting on the bench, and we've talked about this before. You've got to earn the playing time, but why are we not seeing, right? Why are we not seeing all this speed out there? Right? Arian Smith not really used that much this season. It's kind of a different feeling, right? And you got Anthony Evans. I think Anthony Evans might have himself a game this Saturday. Right, special teams might be an impact. That's just my thought there too. Parker also says, I'm pulling for Alabama football to beat Michigan, and also I'm pulling for Washington to beat Texas. So it sounds like you want to see Alabama-Washington in the title game. Well, see, I think what will happen is you'll probably have an Alabama-Texas rematch, which ironically is probably what they wanted to begin with because their ratings. Right, the ratings, that's what the ratings want. Right, that's probably what's going to drive the most money for them. I think that's kind of obvious right after the playoff situation. That's what it's about. If you didn't know, I think you should know by now. But Alabama, Texas is probably going to be your money driver. And to your point, I think Alabama will beat Michigan, and I just think Texas has got the defense to slow down Washington. Xavier Worthy, right? Xavier Worthy and that offense, I think, can handle the defense of Washington enough to score. Might be closer, but I think Texas can pull away. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Washington did end up playing in the title game. They've they've looked suspect a little bit, right, for a stretch of the year. But at the same time, we come to find out you just win games at this point, right? You get into October, late November, all that stuff. You just pull in what you just win games. Doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. You know what I mean? However, you say that for Florida State, it's a little bit of a different meaning to it, right? Um, but I digress. It's just unnecessary. Uh, you were going to piss somebody off. Basically, it's a long story short for that. Let's see here. But yeah, no, I think with this matchup, right, Georgia's matchup, I want to see Carson Beck distribute the ball, but at the same time, I really want to find the one receiver. You know, it's probably going to be Lad McConkey, but I think like I want to see a receiver step up and be something. Right, I want to see a receiver step up and be consistent that we're going to have next year. And as we welcome Keon into the building, here we are talking about what we want to see offensively for Georgia this Saturday, Keon.
Okay.
Let's jump into that. I was talking this. I want to see a receiver outside of McConkey to be that surefire receiver for Carson Beck, and specifically one receiver per se that will be here next year so that we can continue moving forward, finding that next.
Anthony Evans, I'm looking right at you, buddy. This is a great time for you.
I mean, I would love that.
I would love that too. Texas native. Um, Yet again, electric speed. You know this guy, home run hitter. It jumps right off the charts. Good hands, really good hands. Didn't see too much of him dropping balls, whether it be this year or even back in high school. Good catch radius. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, I feel like Ladd will play, right? And I think you're looking at Marcus Rosemy. His last go is this as well. How much of a chance do you think there's a situation, Keon, where Ladd and Marcus play for a few drives and then get sat down so that other receivers moving forward will be able to provide offense, right? To show up. You know, like we talk about Oscar Delp as well, right? Oscar Delp comes in. How much do we see Lawson and Pierce, right? Like, do we think there's a situation in which that can happen, or do we let these guys play and ball out and go out, go out with a dramatic, emphatic dub? What do you think?
I think this is going to be one of those ones where you get to see some of the veteran guys. They'll start out, give us a couple of drives, and then after that, you'll see more of the young guys flow in. I'm looking forward to seeing Lawson, seeing Delp. I think that's more of along the lines that you're going to really see pop out as far as the young guys. Yet again, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. Of course, it's not necessarily the bowl game that we were looking for, but nevertheless, it is here. And, it just gives our young guys yet again another opportunity to go out there and show what they can do.
Absolutely, Keon. So I was talking earlier in the show about how this couldn't be farther different from a prospective fan base's view.
Mm-hmm.
Like Georgia fans are looking forward to this because we've got all of our guys coming in and playing and not really publicly opting out, if that's the case, right? You've had a bunch of portal entries, but it's not really your starters per se, right? On the other hand, it's the exact opposite if you're Florida State. Florida State has went out and publicly opted out and transferred a ton of guys. And I think guys that were actually playing some key minutes. I'm going to read this list to you, man. Tate Rodemaker, DJ Lundy, Rodney Hill, Malcolm Roy, CJ Campbell, Daltrey Richardson, AJ Duffy, Bless Harris, Dylan Brown, Tyler Keltner, Marqueston Douglas, Thomas Schrader, Ayobami Tafase, Quayshawn Sapp, Dylan Brown Turner, Johnny Wilson, Jared Verse, Jaheim Bell, Trey Benson, Keon Coleman. Renardo Green, Jerry Jones, Fabian Lovett, Akeem Dent. That's all. That's not even injuries, Keon. That's public opt outs or transfers for Florida State.
That's
You're
crazy.
you're going to see Florida State with walk on players. Like walk ons are going to be playing. I'm just going to let you
Yeah.
know that right now. You're down to your quarterback three. You've got one scholarship running back. I think both of your DBs opted out. Your two biggest receivers, your tight end. Everybody is opting out at Florida State. To me, it shows exactly who cared, and I feel like who cared and who didn't care. Listen, I think both of us had a right to feel snubbed out of the playoffs. But do you think there's a culture issue there? I don't necessarily think it's a culture issue because
I don't.
those same guys played last year.
Yeah, I don't. I understand it. Although to be all the way honest, um, these are competitors at the end of the day, and just from talking to the fans and friends of the different athletes that have opted out, a lot of them feel like they got cheated. And to be all the way honest, they did. I mean, I think it's perfectly fine for us to say what it is. They definitely did get cheated. Um, because at the end of the day, no matter what the committee wanted to try to make an excuse to leave them out, you just told those kids who just went undefeated, that won their conference, that's not good enough. And I think that's a horrible precedent for the sport. I think it's a horrible look for the sport. I think it's a horrible look for the committee. I think it's a piss poor and honestly a shit call from them, to be all the way honest, to be quite frank, and excuse my French. But overall, you just told those kids all of their heart, sweat, tears, hard work, long days in rehabbing. You just told all of those kids that nothing that they did mattered, all because one person fell.
Well,
You
and that's
know,
the thing too, man. Like, I hate to feel this way about this whole bowl season lead up for us, but the Orange Bowl has really non-football related issues have kind of taken over the
mm-hmm.
narrative for leading up to this game. You look at right, both teams get snubbed out of the playoffs. Okay, whatever.
Yep,
Then you listen to the logic, I guess you could say, that the committee had, and the issue to me was like they basically shit on the ACC as a conference.
they did.
And so to me, now you're looking at situations where, right, like in the following days, weeks leading in between, right, where we are now and when the bowl was announced, now you've got Florida State and ACC in a legal battle, right,
Yeah,
trying to break the grant of rights. And I understand where they're coming from, but it's definitely taken away from the football aspect, right? And add on the opt outs and everything like that. Georgia's just going about their business.
yep,
Like Georgia's going about their business like nothing's going on. Florida State, on the other hand, is so preoccupied with everything else, right? Like it just the narrative and the general feel around this game, it's not there. I said this to start the show. I feel like this is one of the most boring bowl lead ups I've ever experienced. And I mean, it is what it is, right? Because we're just here for the ride ultimately. But it's I haven't heard Florida State fans talking shit. I haven't heard Georgia fans. Well, Georgia fans, most of them haven't really been talking that much shit because no one else has been talking shit back. Hell, we've
yeah,
been talking more shit with Georgia Tech and fucking Florida fans for
yeah.
some reason. For some reason, like I've saw more of that on the timelines, man, than I've seen Florida
Oh,
State.
also want to say I hope you had a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, it did. It was good, man. What about you?
I had a pretty great Christmas, man. Watched Trevor Etienne commit, which I can't wait for him. I can't wait, and
Ooh.
I want to get this as well. Um, Trevor Etienne, if you're listening to this any and everywhere, I want you to know I can't wait for you to score your first touchdown in Jacksonville, in Duval, and Gator Chomp in the end zone with that big G on your helmet. Go Dogs. Happy to have you. Happy to
Yeah,
have you. Really happy to have
I
you.
guess let's take a quick second and talk about that, man. Because I know London Humphreys was actually at practice down in Miami. He actually traveled with the team to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and so let's talk about the three transfer portal additions since we last did our show, man. Um, 3 straight days of a Georgia
Yeah.
commit. Xavier McLeod, right? Then you got Colby Young,
Yep.
and then you wrap it up with Trevor Etienne. I think all those guys. I mean, it's the same as the portal, how it operates under Kirby Smart. You come in through the portal, you're expected to have some kind of contribution immediately. I think that's what's
Yep.
going to happen. Um, I know you're most excited about Trevor Etienne. I think a lot of us Georgia fans are as well. But I think don't underestimate, and I think what's going to get overlooked here, and I think to me, you can start a multitude of ways here. But I'm going Colby Young because Colby Young provides something that you can't teach, and I don't think you have on the roster, and that's a 6'5" body at
Yeah.
receiver.
100%.
And for me, right, when you look at the situation, you have that big body. He may not be a 4-4 guy, may not be a 4-3 guy, but if he can go up and he can high point the football and he can win 50-50 balls, that can become Carson Beck. That can become another target for him, a trusted target, right? On third downs, on critical downs, right? Red zone. I would love to see some utilization there in the red zone, right? And I think Carson Beck can do that. I think, and I'm getting way too ahead of myself here, but I think next year you're going to see our offense tailor ourselves to show why Carson Beck needs to be the number one pick. You're going to see a lot of throws. You're going to see next level throws. You're going to see just I just get this feeling that that's what's going to happen, Keon. And and I think having that big body out wide, right, with Colby Young, will generate some plays and some explosives down the field. Not only can we go and utilize his body, however, I've also seen him take a screen to the house. Right. So not only can he go up and utilize his body and do these things, but he can, if you can take a screen to the house, Mike Bobo love what he sees with that.
100%. And I think that's definitely going to be something that you see Georgia utilize. I mean, somebody that's 6'5" that can move and make plays in space and can block, man, you have a place on our roster.
No, 100%. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. Now, at the same time, right, Xavier McLeod will come in, and I think he'll bring some experience to the defensive line that I think we need massive help with.
Yes.
Now, where we utilize him will be interested. I don't know if you utilize him as a true zero, or do you use him as maybe a 3 tech, because he's a bigger 3 tech if you do that. But we sit there, you look at it. He goes in as a freshman, goes in and goes to South Carolina because he was in on Georgia was in heavy on him out of high school. It sounds like from the Florida or from the South Carolina side of things that he was hard to handle. However, when you look at the context, the fact that they had I want to say like a 27-year-old guy get promoted up to a position coach, probably a reason why. Georgia handles players like this all the time, right?
Yep.
Xavier McLeod was probably one of their biggest signings in a decade.
Yeah.
That I don't want to sound bad, but it's just where we are compared to where South Carolina is. Xavier McLeod would probably be in top 10 in this class.
Yeah.
There's a difference to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I look at it, a lot of people, especially speaking with South Carolina fans, they've been very weary, like, oh, look out for this guy. No, none of that. I think our guys are going to be able to get him right. I think Trey Scott are going to be able to get him right, along with Dylan as well.
He also wants to get developed too, man. I mean, it's weird to hear this, Keon. He was willing to sit and burn a red or keep a red shirt, right? Red shirt to get the development. And he was pissed that they tried to ruin his red shirt. South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. So he left. He wanted a red shirt so he can get that extra experience. You don't see a lot of that.
No.
You don't. So I think
So,
that's something noteworthy too. But I think all three of these guys are going to make an impact next year. And
immediately.
obviously, you look at London Humphreys. I don't know if you saw the video. There was a bunch of different video clips in the 15 minutes of the
Wait,
practice. The media was
wait,
there.
wait a second. Carson Beck, Oscar Delp, London Humphreys. Oh, we back, baby. We back, baby.
White men are dangerous. No one is to go near them.
Yes.
Mm, mm, mm. Man, the exciting whites. So I'll leave it there. But
Definitely the exciting white.
yeah, but I do. Though, in all seriousness, so too, Keon, right? Like with the practice today, I know a lot of people were seeing clips and stuff. Did you see some of the freshmen out there?
Man.
Boy, they took a picture of some of the early enrollees. Jaden Riddell does not look like a damn freshman, man. Does not look like an early
That
enrollee.
is a grown ass man. That is a grown ass man.
Justin Williams and Chris Cole looking like Quay Walker. Like already, already.
Already.
These fucking massive human beings, and you've got you see Ellis Robinson, but then you look at Andre Evans, and it's like Jesus Christ,
I'm here
Jesus
to
Christ, is he?
I mean, I'm here to say that Ellis Robinson, for those of y'all that have been paying attention to the transfer portal, I mean, hate to say it, young man's coming in and taking people's jobs.
Well, hold on now. Well, see, we talk about Daniel Harris being in the portal, but my man was practicing clamping shit down too. So I'm not going to say that he will, or he might withdraw, or I don't know. We'll see. But at least he's out there at practice,
No, and I
and
love that.
boy was locking it down. He was. I think there was a clip of him, and I think it was London or
Mm-hmm.
Nitro. I forgot which one it was. I think it was London, and he just clamped it. No, it was Nitro. He clamped it down. It's like there's some work to be done there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're seeing at least based off of practice, because we don't really get to see a lot of this at practice, right? So the fact that Dalen Everett is starting over what we've seen today from guys like obviously we saw Kamari basically run a route better than Dylan Bell. Um, that's just Kamari, right? That's just what Kamari does. But then you look at Daniel Harris shutting shit down, and Julian Humphrey locking shit down, right? Like you're sitting there watching that, and it's like he must be doing some off the wall shit at practice,
Can I
off
speak
the
out?
wall shit at practice to
Can
be
I
holding
think?
them guys off.
Can I think out loud to you, Rob?
I mean, do
Can
what
I?
you need to do there, sir.
I know we have a lot of talented guys on the roster, especially the more talented guys coming in. Um, I know it's probably unlikely. I know it's probably not going to happen. It might. Let me not say probably might not happen. It might happen. We don't know yet. But I do want to say this. For those of y'all that have been following on social media, a couple of days ago, you may have saw a post from Javon Bullard and Kamari Lassiter where, you know, uh, I believe it was Kamari Lassiter's post where he was hinting at coming back, and he tagged Javon Bullard, and then Javon Bullard replied right under it. He said, "I will if you will." I'm here to say this, Javon Bullard, Kamari Lassiter, if this reaches you, just take a second and think about it like this. Y'all are both insanely talented. 100%. If y'all are potentially serious about coming back, understand these two things, right? If both of y'all come back, we will have the best DB room in the country. It's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. Y'all both know what y'all add to our defense. Y'all both know what y'all add to our DB room. It's strap mob. It's
Oh
straight.
no, without
It's
question.
it's you know what I'm saying. It's straight jacket security. You're not going nowhere, and you might as well be playing with your hands behind your back when you see those guys out there on the field. I'm just saying. I know people. I know y'all are considering going to the NFL, coming back, whatever. But just think about it. If y'all do come back, especially with the talent that we've added through the recruiting class and also talent that's already on the roster, if both of y'all come back, we will hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, clamps, strap mob, no fly zone. You ain't catching shit. I swear to God.
Well, dude, like you could seriously play if both of those two return. Why do I find it not out of the realm of possibility that Georgia plays just a base dime because of all the fucking DBs that they would have and all the quality DBs that they would have?
It's a problem. It's a
Because
problem.
not only, I mean, think about this. Not only you would have Malachi and Javon.
Yep.
Tyke's probably gone, so you have
Okay.
put in Aguero.
Love it.
So then you have Julian Humphrey, Kamari Lassiter, right? Then you could have a mixture of, right. You would have Dalen Everett. You would have Chris Peel. You would have Kyron Jones. I know he's a safety, but I'm just thinking of a different guy. Dan Jackson's returning. Then you got the freshman Andre. You got Ellis, obviously. And then KJ Bolden back at safety as well.
Getting reps as well.
Be nuts. Now the question there is, how do you rotate that?
Hey guys. Hey, you know what? Kirby Smart's a smart man. Glenn Schumann's a smart man. Will Muschamp's a smart man. Dante Johnson's a smart man.
Oh, they definitely got weapons
put
like that.
You put their brains together, I know they can figure it out. But
now,
that's a wonderful issue.
This isn't saying that they are returning folks. This
Not
is
at all.
Hypothetical what if situations. I just want
hypothetical.
to clarify that.
I'm just speaking my thoughts out loud and hoping they manifest.
Yeah. No, if that
Kamari
happens,
Lassiter,
that'd be nuts.
Javon Bullard, looking at y'all.
And you literally gonna be. The issue is you're gonna be fighting hard for that one spot. That's what I'm saying. It would be nuts. But so we saw practice, Keon. We saw practices. We saw the freshmen get a little bit of run, which I thought that was fun. Was there anything that stood out to you in the clips, man? Like,
I mean,
just I felt like the like Ellis was that Ellis? Was that Ellis on Ladd?
I just don't believe these redshirt freshmen are redshirt freshmen, man. I don't believe it.
You mean true freshmen early enrollees or like?
Yeah, I'm sorry, true freshmen. I just
okay. I was like,
I don't believe these true freshmen are true freshmen, man. I don't believe it. These some grown ass men.
Yeah, they are definitely long and fast. Like, not gonna have an issue there. Not at all. Keon, let's jump into our second sponsor of the night before we get back to the Orange Bowl. We're gonna talk our predictions. We got some over-unders. We're running it back one more time. We're doing over-unders. But before that, y'all know the drill. Guys, Alumni Hall. DGDpodcast.com. Go to our sponsors. Go to Alumni Hall. Support the show that way. Or you can go to the store, physical location, 1791 Oconee Connector, 535 in Athens, Georgia. Go in store, mention the DGD Podcast, get 10% off your order, or again, support the show. Go online. They do have sales from time to time. Keep that in mind. Get you some stuff.
Get you these bomb ass Air Maxes.
Well, you have to be in the loop with that, man. They are not there anymore, to my knowledge.
Check this out.
Yeah, those things are nice. Definitely nice.
I'm gonna give you a smooth 360. Boom. Ooh, wait a second. What's this? 1785? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the size 13. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Better than the Pegasus, by the way, in my opinion, but that's just me.
A lot
That's
more
just me.
comfortable.
And they cheaper too. But I digress on that. Keon,
G on the tongue.
we talking about the Orange Bowl. We are back talking Orange Bowl official game talk, sir, to finish the show. With that being said, let's jump in to the over unders. All right. Last
Ooh.
over unders for the season for 2023 Georgia Bulldogs season. Carson Beck over under 2.5 quarters of play. Georgia defense. Actually, we'll do it one at a time. We're gonna do it one at a time. First things first. Carson Beck over under 2.5 quarters of play.
I'm gonna say over. Me personally, I think
Okay.
this is gonna be a good spot for him to really get adjusted with the young guys.
Get some run. So you think we'll go into the third quarter with
Yeah.
this? Okay. Do you think you go full 3 quarters or no?
No.
Okay. So you got Gunnar Stockton, Brock Vandegrift off. So you could have Jackson Muschamp. Oh, baby. I'm going under.
Really?
Hear me out. He takes the first half, first drive, hands it over to Gunnar Stockton, and lets Gunnar ride it out. Also, hot take, I think Jackson Muschamp might actually get to see some run, maybe a play or two, maybe a drive.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think you might see something there. That's my hot take for the quarterback play. Just want to leave that there. So I'm going under. I think, keep in mind, I don't see Florida State really doing much at all.
Right? No, I don't either.
Just don't. So I think Georgia runs the ball at will. I think they operate offensively at will. I don't see a lot of I think they push the ball vertically because there's no threats. There's really a lot of their depth is sitting out right now, opted out. Again, we talked about it's a little bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Georgia's not sitting people out. Florida State most definitely is. I think Georgia's going to capitalize on that shit early off and make a statement to a playoff committee saying you fucked up for not putting us in that top four. Simple enough. And I think that's why you're going to see Carson Beck early 2024 Heisman talks leading into the season for real.
Yep.
Now, UGA's defense over under 1.5 interceptions.
I'm gonna say over.
You're saying over, okay? Do you think it's going to be 2, or do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just. I think it's going to be a solid 2.
Okay, solid 2. I like that. It's so hard because these interceptions has always got me, man. They've always gotten me. Florida State doesn't have the receiver. If they have Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman playing, this shit becomes a completely different feel to this, right? It very much so does. I think you do get 2 picks. I'm going over on this as well because they're going to have to throw it. They've got 1 scholarship running back, guys. 1 scholarship running back. You can't run him all game. He's late. He can't run. I guarantee he wouldn't be able to hold it down for 4 quarters. You're going to have to throw the ball a ton. And based off of sheer, law or theory of averages and stuff like this, right, the law of averages tells me, I think what's going to happen is there's a more chance, probability, right? That's what's going to happen. So I've got over on that. I think you do see 2. I'd love to see Kamari get 1 just to send it off or something. But that's just me. They ain't gonna throw to him though. Milton Edwards, 140 combined yards.
Under.
Okay, so those 2 you've got going under. Okay. I gotta hear this. I've got over. Combined, I've got over.
Well, this is going to be their last game, so.
Well, it's going to be, yeah. It's going to be several. And it just said combined. It's not combined rushing yards. It's combined yards.
Oh, yeah, over. Oh, okay. I thought it was rushing yards.
I think they could hit 140 combined rushing yards, period. But
Yeah.
that's just me. I think that might be an easy over. Again, don't really see Florida State doing much in this matchup, guys. Oscar Delp, over under 4.5 receptions.
I'll say over.
You say over.
5. I think he gets 5.
I think he goes 5. Okay. I'm going under.
Yeah?
I think he gets 4. I think he gets 4. Well, keep in mind too, man, like depending on how they feel about this matchup, right? They might showcase Ladd. They might showcase Kendall and Dejan. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna let Cedric Van Pran do his thing. I think that's what's gonna happen. This is the way this game is lined up with the opt-outs and what Georgia's doing. It's lining up perfectly to showcase those guys. You see what I mean? We know Delp is that guy. I think Delp has the potential to be that guy. Mama Delp would vouch for me on this too. But I still think that you've got some guys, Ladd, and you know what I mean, and Dejan and Kendall and all those guys I think they're going to get some showcasings, right? I think some showcasing. So it wouldn't surprise me if he gets 4. But also, I think the distribution is what's causing me to think under on that. Because I would love to see us hit some speedy routes. Give me some Arian Smith. Give me some Anthony Evans love. Damn it. I want to see that, right? I need to see what outside of Ladd McConkey, if Bowers doesn't play, I want to see us move forward next year. Oscar Delp's going to be a key piece, in my opinion. Do you use
100%.
them? Do you use them like that though Saturday, or do you try to get others involved, a la Anthony Evans, a la insert receiver, to get that chemistry going? Maybe Dylan Bell. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But I'm going under. UGA defense, 3.5 sacks. Over under.
Under.
You think they try to utilize short game?
Yep.
Thought so. I'm going over.
Really?
Might be the hot take of the night. I'm going over.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because offensive coordinating will probably lead to some shorter routes, right? But if Georgia clamps down on the shorter routes, right, the lack of the receivers and the depth of our DBs, I think what you could have happen is a third-string quarterback. He does have a tendency to try to run, so that could hinder the sack capabilities, right, the sack numbers. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But something just tells me that this matchup is just pouring on the youth.
Yep.
And for next year, give me Jalen Walker getting a sack or two. I wouldn't have a problem if you see like a Mpemba or right. I'd love to see Damon Wilson get involved on this, but like, what if you see Jamal Jarrett just wreck the interior? Not saying he gets a sack, but if he wrecks the interior and pushes something in, maybe for Michael or maybe for maybe a Tyrion Dawkins or maybe Warren Brinson, maybe get one of those guys some run just because I think Jamal Jarrett is going to have a big matchup here. And I think what I'd love to see is the interior create havoc, especially on a third string quarterback, freshman quarterback. I think Georgia's got to do stuff like that, right? So the opportunity for sacks is there. You've got to capitalize on it because Georgia's going to throw some disguised blitzes. They're going to throw some things out there that quarterback may not be used to seeing, and it's going to make him hold the ball. And if you hold the ball, your ass is going down. I rest my case.
No, I like it.
Rest my case. Last but not least, Brett Thorson. Over under half a punt. Does he punt Saturday?
He gets one off.
He gets one punt, so he may not hit the portal because of that.
Yeah. Hey, Brett, we're feeding you. I mean, what do you want from us, man?
Well, based off of his social media comments, I think he would love if Trevor Etienne didn't come to Georgia and Carson Beck didn't return. But I think he's going to love it when you're winning victories like that. You know what I mean? definitely the winner of the internet on the Georgia space by far. Definitely.
I'm gonna tell you this, okay? I like my punters the same way how I like my Bulldogs, asleep on the sidelines. Okay, go
I
ahead and
thought you
take
were
a
going to
nap.
go eating chicken wings, but close enough.
Well, that too. I mean, if he has chicken wings, he wants to feed the offensive lineman. I'm not gonna blame him there, or the defensive line. Need to
It'd be the
make
most
friends.
Australian thing to do if he brought a fucking Barbie out there and just put a shrimp on it, wouldn't he?
Oh Jesus, look at him. Absolute, absolute.
Jesus Christ. I mean, they're in Miami, dude. Like, I guarantee the weather will be just fine for it.
No, honestly,
So there's your over-unders. Last over-unders for the season. Keon, let's do this. Let's make our predictions, man. Offensive MVP for the Saturday. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Carson Beck, man.
Okay. I'm assuming you think he just distributes it at will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just bombs over Baghdad at this point.
Fair. As much as I'd love to say that too, I'm gonna have to be to keep it entertaining. Give me Kendall Milton. I think this is a big Kendall Milton game. Just
Okay.
again, man. I mean, you don't have Jared Verse, so I think to your point. I think you have a point. Carson Beck should have all day to throw. All day to throw. All
Yeah.
day. But I want to see the showcasing. I want to see our offensive line put in work.
100%.
For what it's worth, I want to see Xavier Truss go out moving people, right? I want to see Cedric Van Granger moving people. I want to see Tate Ratledge knowing he's coming back, moving people. And I want to show people that you made the mistake for the third time in a row, not giving that fucking Joe Moore award to the rightful owners, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs.
100%.
But it is what it is, though, folks. Mayhem Matthew, what is going on, my guy? Offensive MVP, give me Kendall Milton. I think you could easily see Dejon Edwards too, but I think Kendall Milton, I think you're going to see him running hard. Kendall Milton's got a lot to work. Like, if he has a good game, that can definitely help his draft stock.
100%. Now give me your defensive MVP.
Defensive MVP. Oh, my word. This is going to be fun. I think Jalen Walker. I think Jalen Walker is just going to eat those tackles alive.
Give me Raylan Wilson.
I like that too.
Give me Raylan Wilson.
I like that.
The Tallahassee kid playing against his hometown Tallahassee team.
I see what you did there. You pulled the strings, the hometown strings. I see what you did
Yeah.
there. I see what you did there. How about this? Let's do a breakout offensive player. Let you start. Who's your breakout player on offense? Who do you think has a breakout game?
Anthony Evans.
Anthony Evans. Why do I feel like Monroe Freeling? I know it might not sound sexy, but I think Monroe Freeling will get in at right tackle after Truss sits down and shores up what we know is what's going to happen on the offensive line next year.
We serving up pancakes?
Oh, facts.
We serving up pancakes?
Yeah. I don't see him. I think even in the run game, you see him just move people.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, hell, you could easily. I think the offensive line unit as a unit might very well just do that shit. But that's just me. I want to see Monroe Freeling because, right, we're losing Amarius Mims, right? I want to see the future at right tackle, and I think that's Monroe Freeling because I think Ernest Green's still holding down the left. So, give me Monroe Freeling. Now, breakout on defense. I can't wait to tell you this one. Give me Big Ja.
Big Ja. Okay.
Listen, I think what I saw on his Instagram story, if anything's telling me that right there, he looks to be in the best shape I've ever seen him.
Moving. That's a big man moving downhill. That's a big man moving downhill real fast.
If he's playing healthy and he looks the part, he's in the 340s where he needs to be. That's his goal. So he's just maintaining that. I genuinely think you see him get some significant run this year or this Saturday, right? Because you're going to need him to take that next step. So again, This is the springboard game for one Jamal Jarrett. Big Ja. I'll send this to him personally. I'll send it to him personally. He knows. He knows. He knows what's up.
Damn, you chose a great one with Big Ja.
There's a multitude of options here, buddy.
Yeah, give me Damon Wilson.
He ain't playing.
Or no, not Damon Wilson. Give me Samuel Mbemba.
It's a good call. Good call.
Give me
I think. Let me guess. Your logic is you think that he's had an opportunity, and we want to showcase what we're looking forward to his growth in year 1 to year 2.
You're gonna blink, and he's gonna be in the backfield.
Well, I genuinely think he'll be able to set the edge as well too. I want to see how he sets the edge. I'd love to see him on first down, second down, to see what he looks like. Again, I think Gabe Harris is going to be that guy too. But we'll see. Mayhem Matthew says, could we see Lawson Lucky breakout? Maybe.
Possibly.
Just maybe. Matthew,
Possibly.
just maybe. Are there any sleepers in this matchup? Are there any sleepers? People that you might not even realize that could just legitimately have a breakout. Like, I'm going to do sleepers because, like, those are guys that we've been wanting to see that I think we're going to get a lot of run. Who's going to be somebody that you think makes the most out of a small opportunity?
Janelle Aguero. Janelle Aguero. Who do you got?
It's tough. There's so many good ones. I think Lawson did look good. Give me Pierce Spurlin, though. Give me Pierce Spurlin. Give me Pierce. Listen, Lawson's a dude, but I'm telling you right now, you know how hard it is to sit there and deal with 6'6", 6'7" body frame that can actually go out there and catch dude. Listen, we saw what he did. We haven't I think that's a good one there too. Give me Gunner, man. Gunner's gonna get a chance to sit here. Gunner's gonna sit here and get probably a good, maybe a damn near half a football to run the opera. Listen, let him fucking sling it. Don't go out there and just hand the ball out. Nah, let that man cook. Listen, we've seen the same situation, Keon, with Carson Beck leading up to his first year starting the season. Right? Last year, not this year, but last year. Stetson Bennett would go out of the games, and Carson Beck would go in, and he would operate the offense because Monken had trusted him, and it paid dividends in his first year starting. I think you need to see the same for Gunner Stockton. Let him operate the offense. Let him go through progressions. Let him go through reads because you're going to need it because you are one snap away from relying on that man next year.
No, that's true. And I think these snaps that he's going to get this game is going to be very valuable for him.
Even if you're playing, even if you're playing, like you could easily be, dude, we could easily be eating chicken wings on the sidelines, being dead ass serious. Let's see. Matthew says, the reason I say that, talking about Lawson Lucky, is because Lucky has been compared to Brock Bowers. And since we're losing Bowers, I think a Lawson Lucky Oscar Dub could see a jump. I think Oscar Dub's going to be that guy anyway, moving forward next year. Now, the question is, who's going to be your on the inline tight end if you got that? And I think that might be Lawson, but at the same time, because I think Pierce is just too much of a receiving guy.
You got Colton Heinrich.
Colton, you don't want to rely on a true freshman if you don't have to, though. You got that's a deep room, even without Bowers. I'm just gonna leave that there. So yeah, what matchup, position matchup, wins this game? Right, I think obviously context aside, I understand they're playing QB3, one running back. I get that, but ultimately, still got to go out there and play the game. What position matchup is going to be the X factor in this game?
I'm going to go CB3, wide receiver 3.
Okay, so the slide and the nickel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a lot. This could be a major jump for Everett, man. Be on the lookout for it.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see if there's any somewhat of a change in Dante's approach to coaching right? What we've seen if in such a short period of time. I'd be interested to see if there's any changes, any noticeable changes. I think with my matchup specifically, I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be interior defensive line versus the offensive line. I think Georgia's got to. I've got to see Georgia's interior defensive line play like they should play. If you do that, and say if it's Jamal Jarrett, or say if it's Kristen Miller, right, or maybe it's Warren Brinson, right? Maybe you know what I mean. I want to see the interior wreak havoc and just blow up plays. And if you can do that, that shows me that there's potential there moving forward for next year, because something that we've seen all season was literally, in my opinion, the interior defensive line play was getting pushed around and it wasn't allowing for linebackers to flow. Edge play kind of suffered as a result. Different things like that. So if the interior defensive line plays an A+ game or an A game, I genuinely think you're going to see resemblances of what Georgia's defense was used to seeing the past 2 years, right? And it would be a good way to get some momentum into the next spring and into 2024. You see what I mean? That's just my thoughts on that.
No, I mean I can definitely see that, especially with all the new guys coming in on the defensive line. So I think guys getting the opportunity to take that chance to step up. I mean, yet again, these are the moments, man, that separates the boys from the men. Who's going to step up and who's going to make plays. So I'm really excited about it.
Yep. Any hot takes or bold predictions before we get to our score predictions?
Anthony Evans returns a punt.
Damn it, Keon.
Yeah, that's it. I had to. He's from Texas. I had to say it.
God,
I had to say it.
God,
yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I did. See, this is why I don't go first. It's your fault.
You mean go second?
Either way, you did this.
Sounds about right. No. If I had I think Jackson Muschamp gets in some play, but I already said that. Probably won't happen, but God, I would love this if this happened. Big boy interception.
Big job?
Maybe.
Big job?
Maybe.
Big job pick?
Nah, big job. I don't know. You know what? I've seen him catch. I think he can make it happen.
Yeah.
I had to talk to him like, hey, be prepared. You got gloves on or no? Probably not. Nah, I mean, if it's not that, I think there's a pick six. And I think it's going to be not just like a walk-in pick six. I think you see a decent return pick six.
I like it.
Or scoop and score. I think there's a defensive touchdown of some sort.
Yeah.
Some sort. I think. Any last thoughts before we give our score predictions?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, that being said, we'll start off the score predictions. Mayhem Matthew has got Georgia 45, Florida State 10. Keon, who's going first in our score prediction tonight?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Georgia 49, Florida State 10.
See, y'all. No, I gotta hear this. That's a lot of points for Florida State. How do they score?
I think it's more of a first drive thing. I think honestly, their scripted drive seems great, kind of like the Tennessee game. The first play is all they had, and you get a 3 and out. You're at the edge of your kicker's longest part of their leg, and you know what? He barely chips it in.
I think their kicker's opted out, dude.
Oh, are you serious? Holy shit!
I think, or transferred or something. I might be wrong.
So is the backup quarterback starting the game by throwing the ball to the returning team?
I really don't know. I swear I thought I saw something earlier that maybe their kicker even opted out.
if the kicker
or injured or something. I don't remember. I might be wrong, but I'm sure you got a kicker there. So we'll see.
10-40 or 49-10, man. Jesus Christ.
So you got 49-10. Mayhem's got 45-10. Dude, I'm thinking more aggressive here. Give me 42-0.
Shutout?
Why not?
A shutout?
Why not?
You can't even come on, Rob. We gotta spot him at least 3 points. At least 3 points. Come on, Rob.
Look who you spotting fucking 3 points to, Keon.
I mean, damn.
Listen. Might be aggressive. I said it's aggressive. But I think it's doable.
Yeah,
I think it's doable.
Shit.
Well, think about it, man. You've got hardly any opt-outs at this point announced, right? Announced opt-outs. There ain't really been any, right? I think it could very well go this way. Carson Beck still got a lot to prove. These guys, the SEC title game was their first loss in 29 in straight games. That's 2 seasons. These guys forgot what it felt like to lose, and I guarantee you it hurt them too much. They're going to go put out and make a statement. Not only do your starters play, but your backups are still here too. However, what depth does Florida State have? You got to give your running back. You're going to have walk-on running backs. You've got some receivers. I just don't know if it's enough. I think you keep the D-line fresh, right?
Damn.
Keep the D-line fresh. I'm telling you, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Will it happen? Who knows?
No, you're right.
But I'm going 42. I'm going 42-10. I mean 42-0. Excuse me. I saw the 10 from Matthew in the comments. The spread, dude. The spread went from 14 to 19 already.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we finna beat the shit out of these boys. Oh my god. Oh my god.
To quote the great Josh Pate, it might be a Sarah McLachlan special. I think it will be, actually. Just in the arms of an angel.
Now, Florida State quarterback finna look like Helen Keller out there and that shit.
Well then, I mean, listen. If they score points, cool. But I just think it's going to be extremely hard to come by for them to score points.
I think so too.
Because you listen, special teams is going to matter too. Okay, special teams will matter too, right? I think we agree with this. But I think with the DBs, the surefire, I think they sure up the tackling. All these guys, listen, you've had basically a month to get healthy. Georgia's healthy now too.
Yeah.
Or as healthy as they should be. There's no reason not to be. You should absolutely just skull drag Florida State.
Yeah, it's about to be a full-on bite the curb special.
American History X style. I see what you're doing there. Oh, man. Yeah.
Slow down, baby. Wrong team.
We're just playing an Orange Bowl, Michigan. Calm down, Stallions. No, in all seriousness, that actually, now that I think about it, that might actually be what Florida State Norvell says Saturday. Slow down. Just don't. Not too fast. I'm telling you. Georgia's going to be able to – I think Georgia offensively will be rolling. And even if Gunnar Stockton goes in, genuinely think it won't matter.
Yeah, I think they're still aggressive. I think we're still going to be aggressive with Gunnar in there. Like,
look, Gunnar's got that gunslinger mentality anyway. You might throw a pick. I expect a pick if he comes in. It's just if you let him operate the offense, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, and he's still singing that bitch. Okay, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
shit.
You take your lungs.
Yeah, shit
But,
done got real nasty at that point.
I mean, hell, dude. I said 42-0. Why would it not surprise me if Georgia's up like 28 or 31 or 35 to nothing at the half and they just ride it out? Is that a possibility?
I mean, yeah, I think it would be the wrong thing to do. I think running the scoreboard all the way up, and that's another thing. I don't think we had enough to talk about. Next year, you're gonna see Georgia try to run it up on every single team that they play.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this respectable Kirby, I think all of that shit died with us missing the playoffs.
I think it may have well too. Didn't really want to think about it like that, but I think you do have a point. Um, I think I think it could be on part of the fact that we got snubbed out.
Yep.
But if my question is this: if Georgia goes in and say this year, if Georgia goes in and beats everybody by 4 scores, and then loses by 3, are we looking at it any different, or do we still fall 1-6? Because I think that question could answer the aggression.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, us falling. I'm sorry, us falling from 1-6 off of losing by 3 points in a conference championship game. That's the craziest shit I ever heard.
Oh, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, ultimately, we ended up losing, so our we were not able to control our destiny at that point. But
yeah,
now that happens, I do feel Florida State's about to catch the wrath.
100%.
I don't think it's going to be pretty. So, if you're a Florida State fan and you're listening to this, just understand it's business. No,
Yeah, it's not. It's nothing personal.
Well,
No, not at all.
I don't think he necessarily cares for Norvell, but that's maybe just me. Probably because he's trying to take all these guys from, South Georgia. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. I don't think it's truly personal. I think it's business. But no, I think after this statement, watch Georgia be in the top 4. Moving into next season, I don't see a situation where Georgia's not in the top 4 moving into the 2024 season. If you leave no doubt about this game, regardless of the opt-out situation, leave no doubt. Right, we heard that all season. I think that's the motto you need to live by Saturday. Leave no doubt. Just take the will out of the game for them and just see what happens. Keon, other than that, man, I think we are good for the night. Thinking here, we might. We'll probably talk more offline to see what's going on. But I think, if anything, this might be the last show of 2023. We'll see. What a crazy year. What a crazy year.
What a crazy year. Didn't end the way we expected it or the way that we hoped. But I do want to take the time to say thank you to all of the juniors and seniors that are about to go into the NFL draft. I just want to let you know that I truly appreciate everything that you've done here. And DGD for life, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's on behalf of everybody here. We appreciate what you're doing for the program.
For the program?
For the program. Yeah, as Piquel would say, Mr. Piquel. For the program. Going out, I think they have a chance to be the most victorious seniors in this class ever, I believe. If they win this game, I believe. I think they would actually beat the 21. Or I think, I want to say that's it. So I think there is something for the seniors to play. The senior class would be the most victorious senior class if they win Saturday. So I think there's something to play for there too. It could be worse than 42-0, buddy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, could we see a 65-7? I think this will be the last question of the night. Could we see a 65-7?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Oh, damn. I hope Florida State ain't ready. Florida State better be ready for that, because if that happens, oh, boy. Oh boy, that I don't think they're gonna be on Twitter or social media too much.
But I will.
See what you did there, guys. With that being said, we're gonna end the show tonight. Hope everybody had a happy holidays. Maybe most of us do Christmas here, but maybe not everybody. So just in case you did a different holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope everybody had a good holiday,
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Looking forward to the new year, even though I don't think we're going to get to see the same kind of New Year experience that we did last year, like you said. Still think, for what it's worth, I think we're going to have a good 30th leading into the new year, right? Start off on the right track, I think. And then, moving forward, looking into that right there. Also, keep in mind, January 3rd, starting January 3rd, showtime at 9:30. So doing a little bit different there, starting at 9:30, come the new year. So keep in mind on that. If you're listening, if you're listening, it ain't gonna matter too much. If you're watching, you tune in live, most definitely. But other than that, there, Keon, any final words before we send everybody off into the new year?
Yet again, I'd just like to take the time to thank the players and coaches. Yet again, even though this season didn't end the way that we wanted it to, all of your hard work, all of your sacrifice, all of your dedication, it did not go unnoticed. We love and appreciate y'all. And from today till the end of time, it's always go Dogs. To the players that get drafted and that are going off to get drafted, I wish you the best of luck. I hope some of y'all end up on my New York Giants because we need you. Go Dogs, DGD for life.
I've got one more thing. I'm gonna end this on the note here. I'd like to take this take this second to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody because we're about to skull fuck Florida State. Have a great night. Go Dogs. We'll see y'all next year.
Dogs on top.